Wrecking Ball title. Wrecking Ball, when knowledge becomes a weapon. No one IU safe. Chapter 1, Shockwave, Tokyo, 2:18 a.m. local time. The steel giant dies in silence first. Then comes the roar. The Shinjuku South Tower, a 51-story monolith of chrome, glass, and reinforced concrete, shudders once. A tremor runs through its skeleton like a nervous twitch. Office chairs roll, ceiling panels tremble. A single coffee mug, left behind on the 23rd floor, tips over and smashes. Then the charges go. 4 simultaneous flashes erupt at the base. Not random, not haphazard. Precise, symmetrical, rhythmic, like a heartbeat inverted. Boom, boom, boom. The foundation folds. The spine buckles. Floors collapse onto each other like a house of cards made of rebar and secrets. People scream, but only the unlucky ones. Most are already gone. On the adjacent rooftop, a man in a matte black tactical jacket lowers his binoculars. No badge, no insignia, just an earpiece and a small smirk. "It worked," he says softly, "just like he taught me." Behind him, a silent drone captures the tower's final gasp as the structure plunges downward in a graceful suicide. A perfect demolition, except it wasn't sanctioned. It wasn't an accident. It was a message. 6 hours later, 3,400 miles away, Langley, Virginia. The screen shows the collapse in crisp 8K. Analysts lean in, engineers pale. Politicians chew pens. One of them whispers a number. Too low to be a guess. Too high to be coincidence. 71, she says. 71 milliseconds between primary and secondary charges. That's military-grade timing. Someone else mutters, "Or better." And then they all look at the man in the back of the room. Older, scarred, wearing the fatigue of someone who's seen every classified demolition tape in existence. Agent Lila Winters folds her arms and says what none of them want to say. It's him or someone trained by him. The room goes quiet. Then comes the file. Codename, Wrecking Ball. Elias Mason status. Deceased, presumed. Last known location, Alaska wilderness. No contact in 5 years. Lila sighs. "Get me a jet. We're waking the dead." Alaska, 10:02 a.m. The snow is clean here, untouched, pure. A different world. Elias Mason splits firewood with calm precision. The axe head bites into the log with the same smooth arc he once used to blow bridges sky high for Uncle Sam. His beard is thicker now. His hands are calloused. His mind is almost at peace. Almost. The silence breaks. Crunch. Boots. He doesn't turn. Just finishes the swing, wipes the blade, and speaks without looking. "I don't do that work anymore." "Then maybe you shouldn't have left your name on the blueprint." Lila. Her voice hasn't changed. Just the coat. Parka instead of blazer. Gun still on her hip. Hair tucked into a tight braid like a coiled rope, ready to snap. Elias doesn't smile. Doesn't flinch. "You've got the wrong guy." She holds out a tablet. The screen flickers, then plays the footage. Collapse. Angle. Timing. Perfection. He stares. Doesn't blink. "That's my signature," he says flatly. "But I didn't build that." "No, but someone who studied under you did." Silence again. He walks inside the cabin. She follows without asking. Inside, no internet, no phone, no clutter. Just blueprints, books on structural physics, and a dented coffee mug. He pours 2 cups. She declines. He drinks. Then he finally asks, "How many dead?" "Not enough to be a war crime. Too many to call it a warning." "Survivors?" "A few." "Pattern?" 2 more towers went dark in the last week. Data centers. One in Seoul, one in Sao Paulo. No media coverage, no explosions. Just gone. He leans back. Smart. The small ones disappear. Then a spectacle, grab attention, send a message. And what's the message? He looks her dead in the eyes. that the old ways still work. Later that night, he can't sleep. He goes outside into the cold that no longer bites. The stars hang low, quiet. He thinks of Calder Knox, his protege, his mistake. Smart, too eager to prove that demolition wasn't destruction. It was precision, power, control. Elias had taught him every trick, and now Calder's using them, not to clear ground, to erase it. Elias opens a locked box beneath the floorboards. Inside, a folded schematic, faded with age. His final design, one he never completed. Too risky, too powerful. Stamped across the top in red ink. Project, load line, approved by Knox C. He stares at it. Fury blooms, not loud, not angry. Cold, slow, like pressure building in concrete before the crack. He lights the fireplace. The shadows flicker. The room warms. Then he reaches for the calm device he swore he'd never touch again. Clicks it on. This is Mason, I'm in. Chapter 2. The Ghost Blueprint Langley. 3:47 hours. The conference room smells like burnt coffee, ozone, and tension. 3 analysts, 1 supervisor, 2 silent observers who haven't blinked in 10 minutes. On the table, 6 screens, a stack of printed schematics, and a glass board marked with detonation intervals. On the screen, a skyscraper disintegrates in Tokyo, again, slowed to a crawl, every floor collapsing onto the next with mechanical grace, controlled descent, absolute precision, no visible external explosives. Watch the way it falls, the lead analyst says, laser pointer jittering as he scrubs back through the footage. Each charge is offset by microseconds, not milliseconds. Microseconds. You'd need years of practical data to pull this off. Or a mind that doesn't make mistakes, the supervisor mutters. The youngest analyst slides a file across the table. Sir, we cross-reference the blast signature with historic controlled demos, not just official ones, classified takedowns too. Cold War era, Eastern Europe, covert agency jobs. And 3 matched, pattern-wise. Same foundation delay cascade, same anchor's pivot technique at the base, same load shift sequence using staggered shears. The supervisor stops breathing for a second. Who signed those blueprints? She flips the file open. The signature is faint, faded with age, but clear. Elias Mason, codename, Wrecking Ball Demolitions lead, field engineer. Architect of silent collapses, officially dead. Unofficially buried so deep even Langley lost his trail 5 years ago. Undisclosed facility, White Sands, New Mexico. Dr. Harlan Lowe walks into his lab like it's a chapel. He doesn't knock, doesn't announce himself. He just enters. Because this is sacred ground. His servers, his data, his AI models, and now, his nightmare. Projected across the holographic table is a 3-dimensional schematic of a steel-reinforced superstructure, Tokyo's Shinjuku South Tower. It spins slowly, rendered in perfect detail. A digital ghost, low pinches, zooms, rotates. Play sequence, he says. The model obeys. Red dots flash at key stress points. Then the whole thing collapses in on itself. Pause, frame 163. The sequence freezes. A string of code glows at the bottom right of the blueprint. Embedded metadata. He leans in. It's a signature, not written, encoded, hidden in the structural algorithm. M47 brake line. His stomach drops. EM wasn't a company prefix. It was Elias Mason. 47 was his field ID. And brake line, that was his kill switch. Lowe grabs his calm. Patch me to Winters, now. Langley, 4:13 hours. Lila Winters rubs the fatigue out of her eyes with one hand and stares at the feed on her phone with the other. Tell me this is forged, she says. Lowe's voice comes sharp through the line. No, it's him. At least, it's his method. I'd bet my clearance. You're saying Mason built the tower? No, I'm saying someone used his dormant signature code. You know what that means? She exhales slowly. Her fingers clench around the tablet. It means someone has his original work files. O confirms. Blueprints that were never published. Proprietary, deep archive, which we scrubbed after he ghosted. Apparently not well enough. Lila lowers the phone. Her eyes flick toward the silent observers in the corner of the room, still not blinking. Suits, not soldiers. The kind of men who knew exactly how deep a file could be buried and how fast it could be unburied. She doesn't ask permission, just issues the order. Reactivate Mason's clearance profile. Give him access to Tier 9 architecture servers. He's dead, Winters. Then find a ghost. Because someone's building cathedrals of collapse using his gospel. Northern Japan, 1702 local time. The rubble still smokes. Emergency lights flicker over glass shards and dust-caked concrete. Rescue crews dig, pray, dig again. Small boy is pulled from a crevice. Alive, bloody, shaking. He whispers something to the medic before passing out. The medic frowns. What did he say? A translator leans in. He said a man told him the building would fall. A man in a black jacket. He gave him a timer and said, "Count to 30 and run." Did he say his name? The translator shakes his head. Just one word. What word? Knox, back at Langley. The analyst connects the dots faster than anyone expects. Calder Knox, former Special Projects apprentice, explosives savant. Trained under Elias Mason for 2 years before being disavowed. Known whereabouts, unknown. Current status, presumed neutralized. Isla feels the cold ripple up her spine. Calder wasn't just a student. He was the only person who ever beat Mason in a structural collapse sim. And if he's alive, then Tokyo is just the first domino. Chapter 3, Elias in Exile, Alaska. 17 miles south of Wrangell St. Elias. The snow has its own sound. Not the crunch beneath boots. Not the soft hiss of wind carving ice into spirals. It's deeper than that. Like silence with a pulse. Elias Mason knows it better than he knows the sound of his own voice. He splits logs in 3 clean strikes. Muscle memory. Wood shatters. Steam hisses from frozen cores. He doesn't sweat. Temperatures this low don't allow it. Just breath clouds and calloused hands. The axe is old. The edge perfect. Like him, retired but still sharp. He built this cabin from salvaged lumber and gilt. No wires. No signal. No weakness. Everything he needs is inside. Food, fire, solitude. No reminders of the world he left behind. Just wilderness and weight. The weight never changes. He pours black coffee into a tin mug. Drinks it scalding. Bitter. He prefers it that way. At night, he reads old engineering texts by firelight. Not because he needs to. He remembers every formula, every failure. He reads to stay disciplined. Every action has a load. Every weight, a consequence. That's how buildings work. That's how people break. The knock comes at dusk. Not a howl, not a bird. A knock. 3 precise raps. Deliberate. No one knocks out here. Elias doesn't move at first. He stands barefoot on cold wood, eyes locked on the door like it's breathing. Then he opens the gun case, pulls the short-barrel Remington, clicks off the safety, steps quietly. The door opens an inch. Snow, wind, silence, and a figure wrapped in a gray parka. She lowers her hood. Lila Winters. Same eyes. Less patience. You going to shoot me, Elias? He doesn't answer. Doesn't lower the gun. Didn't expect you to still be alive, she says. Then again, you always were too stubborn to die. Didn't expect you to find me. We didn't, not exactly. You tripped a buried beacon in the snowfield 2 clicks out, hidden under a false rock. You planted it 23 months ago. He pauses. I forgot about that. She smiles. Yeah, I figured. He lowers the shotgun. Come in before you freeze to death. Inside, the fire crackles. She doesn't sit. He offers her coffee. She refuses. They stand like 2 old statues from the same quarry. carved, rough, cracked by war, weathered by choices. Finally, she speaks. Tokyo fell last night. He doesn't blink. Earthquake? Precision collapse. Perfect timing. No survivors above floor 20. He nods once. Load line drop? Yes. He already knows. She opens a tablet, swipes to the blueprint. Frozen image of steel beams breaking in sequence. You recognize this? He stares, doesn't answer. Someone used my cascade pivot. Not just used, improved it. He sips his coffee. Knocks. She doesn't flinch. You think it's him? I know it is. She pulls up another file. Metadata. Encoded signature EM47 break line. Hidden in the structure code, your signature. That was buried. Deep. Not deep enough. He leans forward. Tokyo's just the start. Knox never wanted to destroy cities. He wanted to control the idea of collapse. She nods. And now he's doing it. They sit. Fire pops, throws sparks. She waits. Watches him. You owe the world a debt, Elias. No, he says. I owe the world silence. Well, she says, silence is getting people killed. Outside, wind howls. Snow piles against the glass like it's trying to smother the cabin. He gets up, walks to the hidden hatch under the rug, lifts it, pulls out a wrapped canvas tube, unrolls it. Schematics, blue ink, fine lines, building bones drawn with surgeon's precision. One of them is labeled the ARC Project, a design he never built. Another, Domino Core V2. At the bottom, a note in unfamiliar handwriting. You stopped building, I didn't. His jaw clenches. He looks at Lila. This isn't revenge, he says. She raises an eyebrow. No, this is proof. He wants to show the world that demolition is the only honest architecture left. He packs 2 pistols, thermal gear, a hard drive from a metal box labeled Cascade Theory. No GPS, he says. No trackers. If I see a drone in the next 10 miles, I'm gone. She nods. We'll follow your rules, for now. At the door, he pauses. I walk away when this is done. No missions, no medals. You walked away once before. He meets her eyes. That was my first mistake. Back outside, the snow bites again. This time, he lets it. Because the quiet was never safety. It was just the calm before the fall.